Barbaric shelling of civilians is just one form of Russian aggression. The Kremlin also attacks and provokes along the border with Poland. Putin's troops and supporters are also conducting aggressive hybrid operations. It is here, in the Kaliningrad region, just 25 kilometers from the Polish border, near Cherniakovsk, a gigantic military espionage facility is being built. Previously, underground missile launchers were deployed in this city. The Russian military infrastructure is definitely geared towards spying on NATO countries and spying on Poland. In this case, we cannot assume any other scenario than that the Russians will simply do everything they can to penetrate NATO territory or carry out various provocations. We simply have to be prepared for the worst. Satellite photos show that work on the spy antenna began as early as 2023. At that time, there was bare ground there, and today the facility is almost complete. It was built in a strategic location, probably to conduct radio monitoring of NATO communications, for example. If the installation reaches operational level, that is, begins to function, it will pose a serious threat to any NATO maneuvers. NATO will lose the ability to keep situations secret, such as when conducting covert operations. The Russians will be able to listen in on NATO communications and will also be able to influence those communications. In fact, they are already influencing GPS signals, and we know that this is happening from the Kaliningrad region. 6 concentric rings with a diameter of over 1.5 kilometers have already been built. There are places for antenna masts, there is military infrastructure, and radar equipment is being installed. These Kremlin ears can not only listen to what is happening in the region, but also cause chaos to NATO communications. This allows you to understand the enemy's moves, meaning that information is a weapon, and this weapon is one of the key ones on the modern battlefield. It is no coincidence that from the very first day of the war in Ukraine, the Russians attacked not only civilians but also Ukrainian radars, military antennas and other strategic communications equipment. Without adequate communications and intelligence, it is impossible to operate effectively on the battlefield today. In fact, today, apart from kinetic conflict involving bombs and killing people, war is also being waged in the sphere of communications. No army without accurate communications is able to achieve readiness or achieve the objectives set by its staff. What Russia is launching in the Kaliningrad region poses a very serious threat to our region. And all this is happening right on our border. The Kaliningrad Oblast is a repository of Russian weapons and military systems. Soldiers are deployed here, maneuvers are organized, and Russian warships are moored here. Russian provocateurs want to be as close to NATO's borders as possible.
Russia has really showed no indication that it wants to stop this war once it acquires Donetsk and Luhansk. If this were the case, it wouldn't have launched its 2022 invasion. Really, as in the last 10 years, or especially since 2013-14, as we've seen increasing westward integration in Ukraine, and that is only, I guess, fired up, if you will, Russia's desire.
One of these is a military spy antenna right on NATO's eastern flank. Russia is escalating once again and has been doing so continuously for 2 years now. It is escalating various types of preparations, various types of infrastructure activities, troop relocations, weapon relocations, and also the relocations of nuclear weapons to Belarus. This is also a whole series of events that are hostile in nature. Putin is waging a large-scale hybrid war, especially in our region. The Russian threat must not be underestimated.